Metal Matt is back with a little versus video. Oh no, I know you guys hate that stuff. Um, there's no competition, all that stuff. I agree. Don't worry, it's just a cool title, don't you think? But it's not really about who's the best and all that kind of thing. But what it is, I'm looking at today is we got two bands. We've basically got two versions of Judas Priest now. In a certain way, if you want to look at it that way, which I do. And you've got the founding member, KK Downing. He's an incredible guitar player and a great friend of mine. Interviewed him quite a few years back now in his Wolverhampton venue, KK Steel Mill, and been in touch ever since. So that's really cool. I love what he's doing with KK's Priest, and obviously Judas Priest. I've met all those guys. Rob Holford actually gave me the name Metal Matt on a Christmas card one year, which was really cool. And from then on, there you go. I use it as my musician name, and I fly the flag for heavy metal and keep that heavy metal style alive, that screaming heavy metal style. Yeah, so I'm a big Priest fan, if you can't tell. It's the band I grew up on. I absolutely love their music, particularly in the day, the Screaming for Vengeance, Defenders of the Faith, Sin After Sin, all those albums are fantastic. Unleashed in the East, that's a favorite live album, which may not be live after all, but it's a great album. Uh, every album they've done something different. Nostradamus, I absolutely love that, which a lot of you guys didn't for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with you. Masterpiece of an album. Clever, showed that they can really do something different, and the vocals were amazing, the musicianship out of this world, completely different side to Judas Priest. They showed they could do something, orchestral and get a whole different vibe going, and really impressive album. But what we're here to talk about now is the two fairly new releases. The Judas Priest release, Invincible Shield, that's extremely new. That's like released now, basically. Um, and we're going to look at KK's Priest, the later album, which was released. I've just got all the details here. It was released on the 29th of September. 2023, so a few months back, so two very new albums. Obviously, this newest KK's Priest album is The Sinner Rides Again. The previous one before that, the first release was Sermons of the Sinner, Sermons of the Sinner. Two albums, but we're going to look at the most recent stuff and compare those two recent albums. So the Priest, Invincible Shield, and the Sinner Rides Again. First off, I'll give you some detail. I'll read this little Wikipedia thing about KK's album. The Sinner Rides Again is the second studio album by English band KK's Priest, formed by former Judas Priest guitarist KK Downing. It was released on 29th of September 2023 through Napalm Records. Good record company that. I think they've released a lot of good names. They're with a good record company, which is good. Good label. 4 singles preceded the album, including the lead single One More Shot at Glory. There you go. One shot at glory. But no, this is One More Shot at Glory. I love that this album has a lot of kind of priesty references, and it kind of carries on the story in some ways of some of these songs that we love. It's great that KK's kept being a priest. He is a priest. He's been a priest all his life, and a Judas Priest, and he's carrying that on with KK's Priest. He's to me, I feel it's cool. He's totally done something unique and but true to Priest and to metal, and to the kind of sound we want to hear with him. Obviously it's a completely separate band to Judas Priest, but as a Judas Priest guitarist, you know what you want to expect from him, and he does not disappoint. And what we're looking at today is not really a versus, like who's better kind of thing, but what it is, I'm gonna look at a few songs from each band from the newest albums, and see what they're doing, and see what resonates for a Judas Priest fan like me, and for you guys, I imagine. The signature things you expect from a release by these guys. Is there going to be the twin duo sound, guitar duo? Is there going to be the screaming heavy metal vocals? The lyrics, is it going to be mystical and kind of enchanting like all the Judas Priest kind of stuff? And there's a lot of boxes to tick. So I'm going to look at what KK's Priest are doing and what Judas Priest are doing now, because really they're both in the same kind of thing. KK's Priest has got a couple of Priest members. He's got KK and Ripper. Ripper sang with the band for 10 years. He was a part of the band. For some reason his era has been erased. They don't want to release the Demolition or Jugulator albums, which is crazy because they're real Judas Priest albums. They were a period in time, but they're not available anymore. Only knockoffs, I think, on eBay and things. Yeah, which is crazy. So that's another thing that's weird. Obviously, KK was willing to step back into Priest not long ago. It was all in the news, the metal news, blabber bollock, and all that stuff. We all heard it. KK was willing to step in. Obviously, Glenn had to step down from live shows. He still does the odd one, which is great, the odd appearance. But for actual shows, he stepped down and Andy Sneap stepped in. But KK, sorry for the burp there. I've been drinking this Sol. Oh well, I'm a man. Put up with it. Anyway, So Andy Sneap came in, and he stood in for where KK could have come back, and I think we all wish he could have, because he's such a big part of what Judas Priest is. He's got the wild solos. To me, he's the best guitarist ever. I just love his style and the way he feels the music. You just watch him playing Sinner, and he just loses himself in the music, and that to me that's a rock star. That's what it's all about. And it would have been great to see him step in where it was just Richie, and it could have been Richie and KK. Obviously, we did have that one-off rock and roll Hall of Shame or whatever, fame, but it is a pretty shameful place. I think it's not. I don't buy into the Hall of Fame. I think it's all a joke, really. It's a bit of a commercialized thing where they let anyone in who gets a crowd. It's not really about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I think there's a Metal Hall of Fame, which probably got their head in the right place, rather than money in the right place. But still, it's a big deal. It was cool to see them inducted, but from what I've read, there was a lot of weirdness with that as well. They couldn't just shake hands and get together. The Priest camp made sure the KK camp was separate, which is very strange. And everything was done at a distance, and they caught up, I think, a little bit. But yeah, it isn't what it should have been. It should have been a celebration, not a kind of standoffish vibe, but still, it was cool to see them all on the same stage, and it gave us an idea of what it kind of could sound like if KK and Richie were alongside each other. And I think you could see they got on well. There's no bad blood between Richie and KK, obviously, because you could see they were just KK's just Richie is just doing his job. He's getting out there and doing the job he's been assigned to do, playing these Priest songs and doing a great job. And KK, obviously, he's just performing this one-off performance, and he's back where he knows what to do. He doesn't have to think about it. You can see that from the performance. It's just he gets out there, does his thing. There's no it's like second nature. He's done it all his life, and just seeing them together enjoying themselves was nice. Seeing Richie and KK get along, and I think it could have been a great thing, having those two up there. But obviously, there's a lot of weirdness in the camp and bad decisions by the seams of it. That's what it appears to be like. And no one voted KK back in for some reason, and to the detriment of the band and the fans, really, because we all would have loved to see it. But anyway, at the same time though, we got two two bands now. We've got KK's Priest, we've got Judas Priest, and it's kind of like the Metallica Megadeth situation, you know. I hate both those bands, but for those who like those bands, you know, you got two bands kind of born from the same thing, and it's kind of cool having two versions of something, and you can either choose which one you like the best and which one you think's really flying the flag for heavy metal and for Judas Priest, or you can listen to them both and enjoy them both. So it's never a versus really. For some people it may be, but yeah, it's just the way it is, you know. And today I'm here just to look at what they're doing. So I'm going to dive in now. That's enough talking, I think, and we're just going to dive in. Uh, First off to KK, KK's new stuff, The Sinner Rides Again, and we're gonna just look at has it got all the elements you want to hear as a Priest fan, you know? Has it got the screaming vocals? Has it got the guitar harmonies, lyrics, all that stuff? So let's have a look. Sinner Rides Again. Let's see what we got on here then. Yeah, we'll listen to the title track first. No adverts though. I'm not advertising on this one. Seeing as YouTube won't let me monetize, even though I got the right subscribers and everything, I'm not going to let you hear any adverts. But you can donate to the channel. PayPal me. So here we go. The Sinner Rides Again. Alright, it's very emotional. It's I think the KK stuff I've noticed it's got a darker element to it, and a bit more it's kind of modern and classic. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very well engineered sound. You know, it sounds great. But this is cool. So far, this is like to me, it's like Alice Cooper kind of Dragon Town album. Quite dark sort of vibe to it musically. Beautiful guitar harmonies there. It's what you want to hear. There's the KK whammy. Nice scream there.
Lightning strikes, sky explodes, flash of steel from alley road, with wrath and fury, prepare to die, screams of vengeance, seek and destroy, sin, the right,
So yeah, it's an interesting sound. He's kind of got, like Rob, I guess it's quite similar. He's got that kind of low voice. The sinner rides again! Kind of, and then it goes really high. Beautiful melodies in between. I like this kind of.
sharp, lips ignite with precision skills, he's here to fight, so everyone, prepare to see, return of the sinner inside you and me, sinner right, the sinner rides again.
Kind of nice, kind of mid. The sinner rides again. It's kind of it's not too forced out. That's this high notes. On some of the songs it is very much so, but this one's kind of interesting. It's kind of suppressed, but it still has the power. So yeah, that's a little bit of that one. I'll find another one for some contrast. What's the best one? We've got Sons of the Sentinel. Another thing, all these names reference Judas Priest, the Sentinel. You've got One More Shot at Glory, that's like One Shot at Glory. The Sinner Rides Again, just KK riding again with his most infamous song. The Sinner, obviously, that's what we want to hear, all that whammy stuff. Now this is cool. Nice twin guitar going on. Very high. It's kind of away. It's almost a bit Udo-ish, a bit Holford-ish. But obviously, Ripper's unique to himself. I think something as a Judas Priest fan, you kind of always want to hear bits of Rob in the kind of this kind of music because it's what you first liked when you found Priest. And with Rob, I think what's cool is you wait for that voice, that kind of that kind of or he sings in it, painkiller, that kind of the gritty voice. And the thing with Ripper, he's kind of got that on hand like that. I think with Rob, I mean, in the day, Rob was screaming it out, no problem at all day long. As he got older, it kind of changed a bit, but he's still singing amazing, hitting the notes. And his voice evolved. But Ripper, I don't know, he's a powerhouse. He's a machine. He's can switch straight into the sound you want to hear, kind of effortlessly. You know, whenever I watch it, it's like, you know, Ripper is very effortless, which is cool, and I think noticeably more effortless than Rob, I guess. But there is a big age gap and all that kind of thing, though. And in the day, Rob was very effortless with the Live Vengeance show and stuff. But to give Ripper his due, he's totally, on form, and singing better than ever. I think that's one cool thing with these KK songs, and we've got quite a contrast there between the two songs we've just heard. You've got extreme high vocals here, and the other one you've got kind of low metal vocals. Something Ripper was always great at is that low kind of. He's more evil, I guess, sounding. The thing with Rob, which I guess I like, is that Rob's got that light voice as well, light and shade. Ripper's just a full-on metal vocalist, but it's kind of what you want, especially this day and age. You just want hard hitting heavy metal. I feel the depth of Rob's voice. I think I like the clean sides of Rob's voice is what I really love with the contrast of the high note. So I love Rob's voice for that contrast, but then Ripper's offering something different. Ripper's offering a more metal voice in some ways than Rob, and kind of like a true heavy metal vocalist. Really, he's out and out heavy metal, and Ripper is and Rob is kind of, I guess he's more of a broad spectrum. He could sing different stuff if he wanted, pop or whatever, because he's got a very clean, nice voice when he wants it. But Ripper, I think he's born to do metal, and I mean, as a metal fan, I think a lot of you would agree that's kind of what you want. You want someone who's just out and out metal, nothing else, no substitute, just straightforward heavy metal, and Ripper delivers. So it's an interesting thing. Obviously, two different vocalists. I feel Ripper's a completely different vocalist in his own right. I don't listen to Rob and Ripper and think, wow, that's really similar. A lot of people do, I think, but I don't. I find him unique, and I love his high notes. Tim, this is, I love the uniqueness to his voice, and hearing him live is another story. I've seen KK's Priest, I've seen Ripper solo and lots of things, and his voice live is incredible, and it really, fills the whole venue. You just hear it right there, you feel it, very great vocalist. And KK's Priest live, I've seen Judas Priest and KK's Priest live. KK's Priest I saw more recently, last year, and it was incredible. One of the best metal shows I've been to. I mean, I went with my friend who's a punk, and she was very impressed, and I said, this is, true heavy metal. This is impressive. This is what you want to hear from a live show. So live, they 100% blow it away. I've seen Priest live. They also always impress me very much, but I think the power and the energy is definitely in the KK's Priest camp, because it's full of energy. It's very young feeling. Priest, I think, have aged. You see them live now, there is an age to them, and it's, you can't control that. They are older guys now, but KK's bringing it with his band, and KK and Ripper are full of energy, and his band are young and they're adding to that energy. But KK and Ripper are up there with the same amount of energy, 100%. So, you know, I think he was the energy in Judas Priest KK, and I think he would have kept that energy going if he was still in the band today. He would have kept revitalized it a bit. I think maybe they're getting a bit for live shows anyway. It's not quite what it used to be with Judas Priest, but KK's Priest is a killer live show. Um, but yeah, we'll hear a little bit more of this.
We are the sons sent to know.
Great drumming by Sean. Definitely equal to Scott Travis, if not better. I mean, when I watch Sean, he's really going for it and fast. And Scott, I think, maybe slow down a little bit. He's still got those speedy feet, and but Sean is definitely competition. I think he's a great drummer and very fast. And yeah, KK's could have picked a good one there. And obviously AJ on guitar with KK. I think he's standing up to it too. They're not lacking anything in the twin duo department. Bit of a bridge section here. Again, he's got kind of Ripper's got almost sleazy. This would be like the nice section. If this was a Judas Priest song, it'd be the nice section, and Rob would probably be singing quite kind of clean and nice. But Ripper's got a bit of a evil, I don't know, sleazy kind of. There's still a metal element. KK shredding now. AJ. Wow. We're totally dueling it off here. I mean, how killer is that? I mean, that is what I want to hear as a Priest fan. I want to hear those amazing dual solos, and yeah, that's no different from Glenn and KK for me, But this is KK and AJ, and totally playing off each other. AJ's obviously learned to play at a really high skill. I know he was in the band Hostile previously, who KK used to mentor, I think, in some way. But he's now in the big league with KK, which is great. So that was a nice opportunity for him, and yeah, he's really showing his skills. And yeah, fantastic playing off each other. KK shredding, you just hear that sound. You know it's KK. He's got such a unique sound. It's like certain guitarists you just know it's them. Like Randy Rhoads, Zach Wild, and KK. And I think they're all pretty wild. Uh, and Zach Wild, he's wild in more ways than one. But they're all pretty. They feel the music, and I think that's one thing with certain guitarists. They're more than just a guitarist. They're part of the music. There's a sort of spiritual element going on. They totally vibe with the music, and I think that's something that's underrated with KK. He's the Hendrix of heavy metal. He feels it. I've always loved Glenn's playing, and I know often I read Glenn is everyone's favorite. I know that KK's got a huge following of people. That's undeniable. But I'm always reading Glenn. People say Glenn, Glenn, Glenn. Glenn is fantastic, and he's a skill player, but I've never seen him sort of feeling the music like KK does. KK gets lost in it, and to me that wins every time, because that's true rock star. That's true feeling the music. and given the opportunity, KK would have done longer solos like Glenn does. You know, I think Glenn's dominated those Priest albums over the years with his long solos, which I think they were never sort of fair in that department where they'd give KK as equal a length solo as Glenn got the opportunity to do. So obviously, people are gonna kind of think, wow, that's skillful, a big long solo Glenn's playing, but KK could have very well done the same. I mean, he did Before the Dawn solo, which surprised a lot of people because everyone thought it was Glenn, I think. But when KK started playing that one live, uh, at some of his shows when he's started playing again away from Priest, people were like, "Wow, so that was him playing?" And it's like, "Yeah, it was." And he's shows he's versatile guitarist, and yeah, just a very skilled guitarist. And you know, I know people are going crazy for his tour at the moment in America. You know, he's selling out venues, and they recently did the Monsters of Rock cruise. Lots of great opportunities. So both bands are getting brilliant opportunities, which is good news. Um, so now we're going to analyze a bit of Judas Priest. But yeah, for that, so far they're ticking all the boxes. You know, you got the twin duo, that's ticked. You got the high screaming vocal full of power, that's ticked. That box is totally ticked. You've got the lyrics, you know, very priesty lyrics, kind of what you want. So I think that ticked every box. I've listened to a few of these new Judas Priest songs, and I'm also very impressed with that. And I feel compared to the last two albums they did, which I didn't think was very kind of imaginative. Firepower was better than Redeemer of Souls, but still not the Priest I grew up on. And I think Richie came through more, which is cool because you know he had to kind of carry the band, and you know he was playing amazing on the Firepower album and all that, but it wasn't the Priest sound I kind of like, you know. It was something different. Still cool, but not what I was used to and what I'd kind of go out and out to listen to as a Judas Priest fan. But yeah, I'll get some information up about the new Judas Priest album. Wikipedia again, because I want to keep this fair and have everything, all the details here, you know. So Invincible Shield is the 19th studio album by English heavy metal band Judas Priest, released on 6th of March 2024 by Sony in Japan, and globally 2 days later through Columbia and Epic Records. It was produced by the band's touring guitarist Andy Sneap, who's also produced 2018's Firepower. Well, there you go. You know, it's produced by Andy Sneap. He's been great to stand in for all these gigs they've been doing, and it's been Richie and Andy, and he's certainly got better and better as the tours have went on, I think. And you know, he's keeping the shows going. He's keeping the Priest going along with Richie, which is cool. But yeah, I still wish it was KK up there, and there you go. But I'm still happy, you know, they're both doing great stuff, so it doesn't really matter now. And I'm kind of happier that they're doing their own thing now because why mess about, you know? KK's got so many great ideas, he can just do his thing. Priest can do whatever it is they're doing, and you know, it's uh, it's okay, you know. There's a few reviews come up here on this album. I don't usually write reviews, especially for albums, as everything is so subjective. That being said, this album was hyped up beyond belief and my expectations were low. It's got very noisy outside. I'm in Mexico, so there's always noise going on. You've got to just put up with it. Blah blah blah. However, I just listened to this entire album and holy hell, I was completely sidewiped by how amazing it is. So that's one of the reviews on the Judas Priest new album. Um, and I'll see if the same comes up for Sermons of the Sinner. Not that one. Sinner Rides Again. See what a review comes up as a top review. This is on Google. Here we go. This second release is fantastic. Now a cohesive band with phenomenal talent. I recommend that all metal fans add this one to your collection. It's definitely heavy. So that is that's for the Sinner Rides Again, and the other review I just read before that was for the Invincible Shield. So fans are liking both, and particularly the second KK's Priest release. I think that's where it's really come together as a band. I feel for Judas Priest, it took them a bit longer with this new lineup. You know, Redeemer of Souls didn't really work. Firepower was getting there, and then now this album's a lot more Priest as you'd sort of expect it to be, and that's probably because Richie's kind of being in the band so long, he's probably picked up what it is the fans want to hear, and you know he's got there. But it only took KK two goes. You know, the second album's the one that hit really well, and the first album's fantastic though too, but this second one I think delivered and fast, so it shows how in sync the band is, the KK's Priest band. You know, it didn't take them long to uh, impress everyone, and the albums were released so close to each other as well, the KK's Priest ones, that I didn't even feel a wait really between the two. You know, it was out fast, and that is cool. So, right, on to Judas Priest Invincible Shield. I've gave you the rundown, and now it is time to just see what they're doing. So I'll listen to a couple of songs of their newer stuff. We have let me find it. Right, here we go. So we've got there was a particularly cool one. And the interesting thing though is I believe KK's Priest, you know, they write all their own stuff. I think KK writes it. And maybe some of the other band members. I don't think Ripper's ever been a big writer, or he wasn't with Judas Priest, but I think he might lay down a few ideas on these albums. But I'm not 100%, but I believe so. But yeah, KK obviously writes all his own stuff, and that's an important part of it, I think. But there's a song where they've got a guy called Bob Halligan, and it is The Lodger, which I'm trying to find now. For some reason, it's all jumbled. But basically, what they've done is hired a writer, Judas Priest, for maybe just for one song. I'm not sure if there's any others written by other people, but I always find that adverts going on again. I always find that a bit lame when they can't write their own songs. But it is a great song. I think Bob Halligan is the same guy who wrote some songs on Screaming for Vengeance. It kind of, I think what bands often do is they get someone to write a hit, what they think is going to be a hit, or the record label gets them to do it. And Halligan suggested one. He wrote a song. I can't remember which one it was. Might have been Pain and Pleasure or Fever or one of those kind of ones on the Screaming for Vengeance album. But it wasn't the hit. You've Got Another Thing Coming was the hit, and that was the one that everyone loved and is worldwide famous in America. But still great songs. I think every song on that album is fantastic. But it didn't work, so they didn't actually need a hit writer because they wrote their own hits, you know, on that album. And but they have hired the same guy. They got the same guy who did that, writing a song called The Lodger, and I forgot that until yesterday because I did another kind of reaction to this album yesterday, listening to more of the Judas Priest album, but this is kind of both just to compare. But I was really impressed with this song because I thought it was different, and I thought lyrically, oh, that's different, you know. I thought maybe Rob's been writing something a bit more imaginative and stuff, but when you know he didn't write it, it's a bit like, well, I don't know. But he sang it really well, and he got into the character of it, so I guess that's part of it. It's like Elton John, he doesn't write any of his songs, he just does the music. So I don't know, it's just another way to work, I guess, but for me, I like my musicians to write their own songs. But anyway, let's get into it and listen to it musically and analyze it from that point of view. Also, I know I've only got my phone, and everyone's going to be saying, "Oh, you got your phone? You need a nice big speaker and all this setup." I'm living in Mexico, living a modest life at the moment, just in Mexico, you know, in a downtown area, and you know, I haven't got extravagance at the moment, and I'm cool with that. I've had all that in the past, and you know, I got a nice TV that plays it well and different things. So, but this is just for the video, for my own sort of thing, so I can just do this video. So a lot slower than KK's Priest at the moment, but very beautiful guitar melodies. Not too big a contrast between the Sinner Rides Again, the nice intro, you know.
He's the lodger, trying hard to blend in
Nice
as he
vocals.
stalks his prey. He's no killer.
A lot of emotion. Rob's kind of, I guess, for me straight away, it's the voice I want to hear with Rob. He's no killer. Dun, dun. And it's all lots of emotion. He's using his voice to convey the emotion, which I think is what's particularly specific with Rob. That's what I love with Rob. There's a lot of emotion, and you feel it's like real emotion. He's good at kind of fooling you into feeling like he's being really sincere with this, even though it is just a song written by someone else. He can get right into the character, and kind of like Alice Cooper, you know, they get into the character, you know. And I mean, Alice didn't write a lot of his songs either, and I always thought he did. I think he does write a lot, but one of my favorite albums is From the Inside, and Bernie Taupin, Elton John's writer, wrote a lot of those songs, among other people. So I guess that's how a lot of these things work. And I guess if as long as the musician can do it, then it's good. I mean, I have a guy who pays me to do his songs because he's just a writer and he writes poetry, and sometimes they write a song and he just pays me to bring his songs to life, you know. So I'll sort of sing his songs sometimes, and I've got to do that. I got to put my emotion, understand the song, and to be fair, to look at it from a point of view which I can relate to, it is a nice way to work. You can kind of, when someone gives you something, you can see it as a fan more than if you wrote it yourself. You can think, right, I got these words, I can sort of create the emotion that I think they're trying to convey, or I can convey my own emotion through these words and whatever I perceive it to be. And also creating the music with it kind of makes it your own as well, because you've got to work a melody with these lyrics, and it's almost like your own thing anyway, you know. And it can be a nice way to work. It can bring something new from what you do, rather than just doing the same kind of thing. It sort of throws a curveball in and gives you a challenge, and you end up sometimes coming up with something really cool, which I think with this song, The Lodger, actually did end up being cool. It did work, and it gave Priest something almost like the Ripper. It reminds me of this song, but I'll let you hear it a bit first. I heard it yesterday, that's why I'm a bit more wise to this song now. But yeah, something mystical about it, like a James Bond theme. You know?
But he can't let this man just walk away.
Definitely different for Rob.
Thinks of nothing but this. I'll bring my brand of justice. Vengeance is mine. Simple laughter. Vengeance is mine.
So Rob's still hitting the notes. It's not high notes all the way through, but some of these songs are. The next one I play will be. So we'll kind of do the same thing we did with KK's Priest. We've got a kind of straightforward song, and we've got a high vocal song after. But this one's got some nice highs. Vengeance is mine! Something like that. It's kind of, he breaks into a high note at the end.
I'll bring my brand of justice. Vengeance is mine. Simple laughter.
Vengeance is mine! Is that mine? It's that kind of got a bit of grit in there, what Rob's signature thing is, and obviously Ripper does that kind of effect too. And there's similarities between both of them, you know. Rob's got that said the lodger, all that kind of low in between. Justice. As a vocalist, I think Rob's more precise than Ripper with pronunciation and things. And I guess being British, he has that very eloquent way of vocalizing, and there is a specific musician singer term for it, diction. His diction is excellent, Rob, and I think it's a lighter sound than Ripper's something kind of here, and Rob's sort of here with his tone, a bit more lighter. And I guess in a way, for some fans, that might be the deciding factor of what you prefer. But for me, I love both, because I love, that Ripper's got this hard hitting, and his screams. I mean, Ripper screams different to anyone else, and you know, Rob's screams are fantastic, but Ripper's got all this power behind it, and live, it's crazy. I mean, I've heard him do King Diamond. There's a video of Ripper doing King Diamond Abigail, and he tears it away. I mean, the best performance of Abigail ever, and I think that anyone could ever perform. So as a vocalist, he can nail it every time, vocally. Ripper and Rob, I think, nails it a lot of the time, but I think sometimes he has a bad day and all that kind of thing. Ripper, I've never seen really have a bad day, so as a vocalist, I guess he's got good stamina, Ripper. And Rob here, though, is what I like with what Rob's doing on this new album is his vocals are more, he's put more thought into it, because over the years he's done the Fight Band, the Halford Band, and Judas Priest, and in all these bands you hear different vocals out of him, and it's great. You think, wow. And I hear a lot more fight in some of these songs on this new Invincible Shield album. So that's great. Musically, very nice music, dramatic. I think Richie, the good thing as well on this album, I think Richie's keeping in mind what the fans kind of want to hear. A bit of I hear a bit of KK in there. I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but in some of these songs, I feel Richie is bringing a bit of KK sort of a vibe in the influence, which has been lacking on the past two albums. It's kind of a sound of feeling the music and just nice little licks and things where you think, oh, KK probably would have done something like that, and that's kind of what you want, I think, as a Priest fan, because you know they've had all this catalogue for years of this sound that we're used to, and we're sort of craving that, and I think they've delivered this time. And this is certainly the voice I like to hear with Rob. Mine! Very like you wait for those high notes. And a lot of emotion. The night he got there, heavy fog rolling in, very kind of emotional. You hear a bit of like, the emotion in his voice, a bit of kind of voice break, kind of nice melodies, nice little vocal run there. So yeah, nice song this one, but not written by them, so maybe they lose a point on that one. But other than that, the sound is great. Now I'll go on to another song. I'll put on the most extreme one that I've heard. Which one was it? The Serpent and the King. I think that's got a very Holford vocal, if you know what I mean. It's what you want to hear him doing. So let's hear what he's doing here. Nice. Good riffs. Good drums. Bit of double kick there. What Scott's known for. So straight away, the high screams are excellent. You know, for his age, he's 72, and he's still screaming like crazy. And it's like a manic scream, you know, it's what we love, like Painkiller album sort of vibe, you know. Good lyrics as well. Hopefully he wrote this one, I don't know. Idols to the wall, manifesting anger. We can sense the danger. He kind of contrasts from this grit to like high peaks. Every song. Good lyrics, very priesty lyrics. You got conjurers of evil times. We can sense the danger. They claim every soul. Show you who's the leader. I think typically Rob does write lyrics, as I've seen pictures of him writing lyrics. I think he is a big lyricist, and he has written all over the years. That I think occasionally they get someone else to write a song or something. But I think sometimes it's a sign of laziness if the older bands are doing that. Like they can't be bothered to write their own stuff now. But hopefully it was just that one song where they did that. Um, but either way, it sounds great. The actual music and the singing. These sound like very Rob lyrics. I'm sure he probably did write this one because this is more just extreme and kind of he often uses a dictionary when he's writing word lyrics, and you can kind of hear that here. There's a lot of big words. The music itself isn't that complex underneath. I think KK's Priest definitely had a bit more musicianship underneath it, but it kind of doesn't need it, I guess, as well. I mean, Rob's carrying this song very much. Not that fast paced underneath, you know, it's just kind of kind of thing with some pretty fast drums, but it's not nothing too intricate underneath it. I like that he kind of mixes it there. They play with stars and sulfur just for heaven's sake. He kind of adds like little bits of high within there. Hear that kind of, there's like a, they play with, and he's got a very precise way of vocalizing every word, you know, it's very clear, and I love that. I've met Rob many times, and I said to him once, you're very precise, that's what I love with you, and he said, you gotta be, you know, and there you go, you know, he's very aware of his technique, and he's obviously someone who's put a lot of thought into his singing, and you can hear that. With good and evil known to all. It's kind of like Udo. It's kind of it's in the throat, very gritty. I think the cool thing is always singing in this voice is always great. It always just sounds awesome. Again, same kind of thing. He sings normal, then the high note at the end is sort of high. Just the serpent and the king, the serpent and the king. Kind of full voice with a bit of head voice. The serpent and the king, and the king. Nice music there. That's good. I like that. Bring out the weak, their creation. Sympathy is no longer. It's kind of like very extreme, very like in your face. A lot like Ripper. I think Ripper possibly singing higher, which is crazy. I noticed on some of these songs he sings seriously high. There's one I covered by KK's Priest the other day. I'm trying to remember which song it was, but it was extremely high vocal. I'll find it very quickly. But it's yeah, it was a challenge, and that showed me how high Ripper is really singing on this stuff, which I think is cool. That kind of gave Priest a run for their money, just with how high you know he was singing, because obviously Priest is known for Rob and his high voice, and by now people know Ripper, but hearing him sing even higher than Rob is something else. Sermons of the Sinner, so it's a real challenge to sing this, but I gave it a go. So yeah, this is one off the first album, that is Sermons of the Sinner, and it is the title track. But very, very high. And that was me attempting it just to give you an idea how high it is. But this is Ripper doing it, and it's just hard voice to replicate. Very high. You can hear he's on the edge of his voice. A lot of grit. Corner of the soul. It's all like it's all like in the throat, you know. It's really kind of a lot of grit in there. I love this song. Kind of thing. It's very powerful kind of thing. Obviously, with all the mix and that, that's what helps make it sound so full. Me just singing it like this is a bit lame because it's there's no microphone, there's no reverb, there's no nothing. But it's kind of the idea of the key is very high. Summons of the sinner, and then it goes back down to that grit, which I can't remember the words now, but yeah. Came from madness, and then back to and a lot higher. But yeah, it's all over the place. Basically, they're both doing amazing stuff. You know, KK and Judas Priest. I think they're both releasing very powerful stuff. So I don't know. As a conclusion for this versus video, I don't know. I'm not gonna give an answer. I don't think, but it's it's just a way of analyzing them both, really, and seeing if you think any of them are doing anything different from the other one. And I mean, an overall view of it, I don't know. I mean, I think they're both bringing the same kind of things, but in a different way. I mean, Rob's bringing that high vocal, Ripper's bringing that high vocal. I guess the one thing that I think was lacking from what we heard there with Judas Priest is there wasn't so much of a twin duo sound, and I think that's something KK's got down with his new band, and that is something that keeps the Priest memory and the sound alive, and is a very important element. What I kind of heard is just Richie, which is cool, but it's not it's no different from Holford with his solo stuff or something like that. But but yeah, vocally, I like that Rob's kind of bringing something a bit extra on this album. I think he's not just flogging it out. He's actually trying to put some thought into the way he's singing, and the Lodger really demonstrated that. He's always been one for doing something new. Every album as a band, Judas Priest always do something different, and I think the main thing is that they keep doing that. They keep kind of being imaginative and bringing something new. You've had Angel of Retribution, then Nostradamus, and then Redeemer Souls went a bit naff there, I think, and then production was pretty poor on the album, and then it went to Firepower, a bit more like you expect from a metal album, and then this one's a lot more how you want Judas Priest to sound. So yeah, I think Judas Priest are doing a good job on bringing back some energy, which is good because I think they've lacked it for a while. So that's cool, and I think Richie's bringing something distinctively Priest. I guess he's kind of built into the mold now. He's found his way. I guess when you first join a band, it's hard to completely do that, But he's kind of found his feet now, I guess, and you can hear that in the music. It's more. It correlates to what you want to hear. KK, I think he's just blasted it out the park. I don't think there's anything that you kind of want to change. It's so extreme, and hearing it live is great. I guess the only difference is I like that Rob's kind of got a clean, almost popish element to his voice, which he uses sometimes. And I guess that's the only thing I kind of don't hear with Ripper that much. There are some nice, clean, sort of ballady stuff though with KK's Priest, and Ripper does do a very nice job with that. I guess I just prefer Rob's voice for that kind of stuff, ballady kind of stuff. But you don't really listen to Priest for ballads in a big way. They're part of it, but the main thing is being able to scream, bring power, and be a heavy metal vocalist, and Ripper ticks every box for that. For that, my throat's drying out. I'm gonna end this thing now. But yeah, Ripper ticks every box for that. Rob also ticks every box. So this is what happens when you talk too much. But yeah, Ripper ticks every box, and Rob ticks every box. As a vocalist, I think musically, Priest lacking the twin sound a little bit. Still, KK's Priest not so much. I think they've made that a key element of what they are. Seeing them both play off each other, AJ and KK, fantastic. It's what you want to see. Scott, he's given it a little bit more in this album than he has in the past two. I think he's sort of I think the whole band were loving it a bit more and putting some thought into their musicianship, because it could be one of the last Judas Priest albums, and if it was the last Judas Priest album, I think they've ticked all the boxes for most fans. We all would love to hear KK there, but we've got him doing his own thing, and that's good enough, I think. And yeah, it's brilliant, and it's better to have harmony, I think, and have music coming out of harmony. Although there's probably some competition there, they're probably wanting to make sure they both do a high level if they're both releasing stuff, and maybe that's what drove some really good music here, and maybe that's what we needed. So yeah, there you go. Adios amigos. That's my breakdown of KK's Priest versus Judas Priest, and what I think they're both doing. And yeah, if there's anything you guys think and want to add, just put it in the comments. Be interesting to hear your points of view. But yeah, I've tried to cover, as a Priest fan, what I expect, and whether that has been ticked as a box, as I keep mentioning. Box has been ticked all the time. And yeah, my boxes are ticked. So yeah, but I'm ticked off with talking now, so I'm gonna say goodbye. But I hope you enjoyed that. It's hard to keep these videos short because there's so much to say. But if you're a Judas Priest fan, hopefully you'll enjoy hearing me waffle on for a while. But anyway, I'm Metal Matt, as nicknamed by Rob Holford, and yeah, I hold that name very proudly, and I'm very grateful to Rob for thinking of that, and that I can use it for my music now, and fly the flag for heavy metal, and for people who just love that high vocal kind of style. So I do that all the time. So check out the King of Hearts, Burn the Priest. That's a couple of my songs, Metal Matt, that you may enjoy. Mexico's a cool one as well, bit more of fun, that song. It's about my love for Mexico, and hopefully your love for Mexico too. If you visit, it's kind of all about that. It's all about travel and exploring new places. So yeah, some stuff for you to check out there. I've also done a song with John Foster of Bronxky Beat, Future, but he also did backing vocals on Mexico, so that was very cool. King of Hearts has got an introduction by Mantis from Venom, so be sure to watch that. And Changes in You is a cool rock song I did, which features Dom Jolly in the music video, Trigger Happy TV. Do you remember that show? So yeah, a few things for you guys to check out. Please subscribe to the channel. If you want to donate to the channel, it's paypal.me. So paypal.me/Matt Gothic, which is my Instagram name. But yeah, and then you can donate some money to the channel if you enjoy the videos, because I do a lot of talking. It's a lot of my time doing all this yakking, and also I got nice vlogs of Mexico, so yeah, a lot of times went into that and my music. So any donations to the channel is appreciated, because I don't add any adverts to these. If there is an advert on it, it's not me, it's Judas Priest or something with the copyright thing, and they're making money out of it. But my own stuff, anything that doesn't have music that isn't mine, just my videos in general, won't have any adverts on them, because I can't monetize my channel. Even though I got the subscribers and the views, I've had like 200,000 views this month, so but they still won't monetize me. My Google AdSense got deleted before I could even monetize, and they won't give it to me back. So that's my situation. But that's why I'd love for you guys to donate if you can, anything, just as an appreciation for all the videos I do. But whatever. See you soon anyway. I love yakking on about all this stuff anyway, so yeah. See you soon, guys. Keep defending the faith. Keep being a sinner. Well, don't be a sinner, but ride again with the sinners. Sinner. I don't know. But anyway, just enjoy. But be good. Don't sin. Right, adios.